So molecular weight distribution curve. Computing the molecular weight distribution curve is quite easy. Once the polymer sample has been fractionated into several fractions and the actual weight as well as the average molecular weight of each fraction has been determined. So what you need for the molecular weight distribution curve: actual weight and the average molecular weight of each fraction. It is observed that the larger the number of fractions separated, the more accurate is the distribution curve. In theory, we can separate the sample into completely monodispersed fractions. Now let us see what is monodispersed fraction. Each fraction containing molecules of only one particular degree of polymerization, such as dp equals to 1, dp equals to 2, dp equals to 3. Suppose there is one fraction, it will have all the polymers, all the molecules of the polymer having dp 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Then another fraction will have 2, 2, 2, 2. Then another will have 1, 1, 1. But this is the ideal condition. This doesn't happen in real life. So if we get a monodispersed sample, we can get 100% representation of the molecular weight distribution. In practice, however, such a fractionation is not possible, and the maximum that could be done is to separate the sample into as many fractions as possible and to subfractionate each of them into further fractions. In this way, we can get fractions of better homogeneity. So how to get close to the ideal situation? First separate them into fractions, and then those each fraction subfractionate them into further fractions. This way you can get fractions of better homogeneity. Now let us consider a hypothetical case where a sample has been separated into 10 fractions whose weights and molecular weights are given in the table 13.8. A simple curve can be developed using these data by plotting the weight percentage of each fraction Wi against the molecular weight Mi as shown in the figure 13.28. This is a very simple way of expressing the distribution pattern and can. So this pattern you will get. So on the x-axis you are plotting molecular weight, and on the y-axis you are plotting the weight fraction. So here you can see this is a hypothetical case, fractionation data of the hypothetical polymer sample, wherein the difference in molecular weight between the adjacent fraction is same. So the this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and their molecular weight, you can see the difference is only 10,000, one after the other in the adjacent fractions. This is the weight percent, 2%, 5%, 10%, and if you add all this will be 100. Okay, so you are plotting this fourth column on the y-axis, second column on the x-axis. No, I said it wrong. Second column on the y-axis and fourth column on the x-axis. So you will get a simple, nice molecular weight distribution curve. This you got because this was the ideal hypothetical condition. Now let us take an example which is a real example where the difference in the molecular weight between two adjacent fractions is not same, 80, 150, 240, like that. Then this is the weight percent, and cumulative weight percent nothing but adding to 7.5 to 7.5, 9.5, 9.5, then 2.5, 9.5 plus 2.11.12, sorry, and like that, the cumulative. Okay, summation of Wi. So more or less represent the overall distribution pattern, the earlier one, provided that the difference in the molecular weight of the successive fractions are the same as in the case of hypothetical example. But in actual fractionation, it is very difficult to get fractions of this type, and usually the difference between the molecular weight of the successive fractions will be spaced quite apart as given in the table. In such cases, a simple curve of Wi against Mi can give an erroneous picture of the distribution pattern as shown in the figure 13.9. To overcome this difficulty, the cumulative weight percentage Wi, so like this erroneous picture you will get. So 13.9 gives an erroneous picture. So now we have to overcome this difficulty. So what we do, we plot the cumulative Wi versus mi. This one. So depicting the integral, so we get an integral distribution curve. So here this one is plotted at the y-axis, third column. So integral distribution curve of molecular weight distribution hypothetical polymer sample is represented in 13.29. Then that is the weight percentage of sum of all the fraction containing the molecules up to a particular molecular weight is plotted against the molecular weight mi as shown in the figure 13.30. The curve is called an integral distribution curve. Graphical differentiation of this curve by determining tangent at as many points as possible on the integral curve leads to the computation of a differential distribution curve 13.31. This one, if I take the difference of that plot, earlier integral plot, by drawing tangents at as many points as possible, then I'll get this graph. Leads to computation of a differential distribution curve from which weight percentage of molecules of a particular molecular weight present in the whole sample can be read out. So differential distribution curve for molecular weight distribution of hypothetical polymer sample. The curve has been computed by graphical differentiation of the plot. With the advent of GPC, however, there is no need of cumbersome procedure of separating the sample into fraction, determining their molecular weight, and computing the distribution curve. As already explained, the GPC straight away gives a plot of distribution curves of a sample. So GPC, if you do GPC, you will know that it is the kind of a machine which directly gives the plot of the distribution curve. So this is what you need to know in molecular weight distribution curve. Okay, thank you. Later on we'll see molecular weight determination.